Alright, today we're taking a look at a plant called yarrow, or the scientific name, Achillea millefolium. Well, believe it or not, yarrow is in the sunflower family, and it has a flat top cluster of small whitish flowers that grow at the top of a gray-green leafy, usually hairy stem. This plant grows about 1 to 3 foot tall, and it blooms from June through September. And it likes open fields and roadsides. Yarrow was formerly used for medicinal purposes, to break a fever by increasing perspiration, to treat hemorrhaging, and as a poultice for rashes. A tea used by the Indians to cure stomach disorders was made by steeping the leaves. The foliage has a pleasant smell when crushed. Alright, we are going to harvest some of this yarrow today, and we're going to show you how we dry it out. We're going to use the leaves here to make a pleasant tea. Alright, we're going to harvest some of this yarrow here. And I got to watch, there's some poison ivy right here. I don't want to get my hands into that. So we'll just use a knife here and cut these off. And we'll get a little batch here gathered up. And I'll show you how we're going to dry these out. The dried leaves is what we're after here. And we're going to make a nice pleasant tea out of this. This is a great spangled fertility. And this is actually called butterfly weed. Alright, just a couple reference books that are good books to use here if you're identifying plants or wildflowers. I have the Peterson Field Guide. This is the edible wild plants. And I have the Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Wildflowers. These are both excellent books. And if you're trying to identify things, and this wild edible book here is good for foraging. So you always want some good references when you're identifying plants to eat the plant, or to use medicinal purposes, or to make teas. Alright, so we picked our yarrow here, and what we're going to do now is just go through them, and these are already starting to wilt, so that's what we want. But you just want to check if there's any bad looking leaves. You just want to pull them off. And we're just going to arrange these here and try to keep the stems even down here. So here's one with some brown leaves. We're just going to pull them off. We don't want them in our tea. And we're just going to tie these up and hang them up and let these dry out till they crumble in your hand. And then we'll be ready to steep our tea. Alright, so that looks pretty good there. And what I tie them up with, I use a little piece of jute. Just some jute twine here. And we're just going to wrap it around a couple times and tie it up tight. And then I'll just make a loop up here on top. That way I can hang this off of a nail or a hook. And you want to make sure you keep this somewhere where it's warm and dry. You don't want to have this outside where if you get any rain, it'll make them wet. You want this to dry out bone dry. So there we go, and we'll just hang these up like this. And I'll hang these up on the back porch here and dry them out. And we'll be right back to steep our tea. All right, we'll hang our yarrow up here to dry, and we'll come back whenever it's ready. All right, so we left our yarrow here dry for about 3 or 4 days here. I think this will be dry enough for us to steep our tea in. So we're gonna set up our stove here today and make a cup of yarrow tea. All right, with any of these foraging series that I'm putting out, I do not recommend that anybody tries this, and I am no medical doctor. Any of these teas or tinctures that you're going to see me making here, you make it your own risk. So full disclosure. All right, we got a little mortar and pestle here, and we're just going to take some of our leaves off and put in here and just kind of crush them down here a little bit. It does have a nice smell to it. The Indians did steep these leaves and make a tea for stomach disorders. And if you're going to be trying to do any of this kind of foraging and making teas or tinctures, with everything you do, you want to just try a little wee bit for the first time. I'll make this cup of tea here. I'm not going to drink it all. I'm just going to take a few sips to try it and make sure I don't have any adverse reactions to it. But it's nice to know things in nature that you can use as a food source or any natural medicines. If we ever get into that crisis situation that you need to know these things, they would be useful to have. All right, we're going to go with that. See if we can mince these up here a little bit. You still ain't as dry as I would like it. I think it would just take a lot of time to get these to the point where they would crumble in your hand. All right, we're going to get our water heated up here. Got the old pocket rocket too here today. All right, while our water's heating up, we got a tea ball here that we're going to get packed up with our yarrow leaves. All right, we got a little rain coming off the trees here. Kind of messing us up here a little bit. There we are. We got our tea ball packed there, and our water will be just about ready here. Alright, we do have some honey we're going to be putting in with it, but before I add the honey, I'm going to try it without first and see what it tastes like. This honey here comes from my uncle. He keeps bees, and this is actually last fall's honey. This is a fall honey, so it's a darker honey than clover. So they're feeding on a lot of goldenrod that time of year. But this is a very, very sweet honey. It's better than the summertime honey, I think, the clover. So if you can get dark goldenrod honey, that's pretty good. All right, we got our water here boiling. Set it down here. And we got our tea ball here. You're getting sleepy. You will do and say what I tell you. And after you drink this tea, you won't remember a thing. All right, we're gonna steep this. All right, we'll just let that steep for a little bit and then we'll be right back. All right, we got that steeping there for a while. And we're gonna let it go a few more minutes here. All right, so there is some fine leaf particles floating in there. So what we're gonna do is, we got a number 2 coffee filter here. We're just gonna filter it through into a clear coffee cup here. And that way you'll be able to see the color of the tea here. Boy, them chickens are making enough noise, aren't they? All right, so we'll just pour it through this filter here. Oop. Might have to do that again. All right, let's try this again here. So you can see the color of it there is a greenish yellow. Very nice. I suppose I should have fed them chickens before I did this. They're giving me heck for it. All right, so there's a look at our finished tea. And we're gonna try this before we put any honey in. All right, so if I got any stomach disorders, this should take care of it. Like I said, I'm not recommending anybody do this. You do this at your own risk. Not too bad, really. I'm trying to think of what it tastes like. It's nothing minty because it's not a mint, but it has a pleasant taste. All right, so we're gonna try a little bit of honey in it now, and take a sip of it with some sweetener in there. Like I said, this is some fall honey, which if you ever had fall honey, there's a big difference. All right. All right, here's our Yarrow tea with a little bit of fall honey. Now that's good. Still the same flavor of the Yarrow, but with a touch of sweetness. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video on foraging for Yarrow. And this is just one video of a series of foraging that we're going to be doing this summer. And I hope you all enjoyed it. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Catch you later. Thanks.